Imagine the moment when you're about to start a new chapter of mankind's space exploration, looking up at the heavenly body that has been the dream of many generations. The Moon, the one that was far from reach, is now set to become our next frontier as NASA ventures to make a 100 BN city on the Moon. What lies beneath the surface? Let's find out. Something amazing happened on the 23rd of August of 2023. India became the fourth country in the world to successfully land a spacecraft, Chandrayaan-3, on the Moon. It landed at the South Pole of the Moon and joined the club of nations that have accomplished this amazing feat. We were all enjoying a historic moment when India made a place in the list of 4 other countries, the USA, Russia, and China, who had already achieved this feat. As the world celebrated this remarkable achievement, NASA watched with eager anticipation, for this was a crucial step towards realizing their daring plan to develop the first lunar base for human life. The race to the Moon is restarted. The reason behind this is the discovery of large amount of water at the South Pole of the Moon. This is a rare commodity that carries with it the potential of creating self-sufficient lunar habitats. Water can be extracted and utilized for drinking, farming, and as a coolant for essential space hardware. Besides, the Moon is likely to hold huge stocks of rare and expensive items that will be discovered and studied soon. The virgin region of the South Polar Zone entails a huge amount of scientific discovery potential, allowing you to understand the past and present of not only the Earth and the Moon, but the whole solar system. It's quite normal that countries worldwide are now struggling to have their presence on the Moon. Take the Artemis Program of NASA, a daring venture aimed at enhancing the way lunar exploration is done. You must be wondering what the goal is. It is not only the first manned flight to the South Pole of the Moon in 2024, but also the next man and the first female. Can you imagine? This will open a new chapter in human exploration. Yet, the Artemis program is not merely a collection of momentous missions. It also symbolizes the future of space exploration. You must want to know more about this interesting project. The Artemis program is a grand multi-phase megaproject. The ultimate goal is not only lunar colonization, we also want to lay the way to interplanetary colonization. It all started on November the 16th of 2022. This new chapter in the saga began with the Artemis 1 launch. The main purpose of Artemis 1 was to be the first step in the Moon exploration. The story is just a small fraction of that iceberg. Artemis 1 established a setting for a string of further missions. Looking at today, the next stage of this glorious voyage is about to begin. Next year, a group of astronauts will go back to the Moon. They will set off to the lunar South Pole in search of a place where discoveries await them. So, what will be the mega-sized project's implementation? The solution is in the complex network that forms the Artemis program. It's based in technology, innovation, and collaboration. At the very core of this labor is the launch complex at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. And from this place, an entire fleet of spacecraft stands ready to take us towards our lunar goal. The Space Launch System, or SLS, is the Artemis program workhorse. It provides the ride to the astronauts and equipment into the outskirts of space. On top of the SLS, there's the Orion spacecraft, a modern and advanced ship that will take humans to a destination beyond our planet. Don't you find that intriguing? The trip does not end there. Next to the limits of the Earth is the Lunar Gateway, a space station that will orbit around the Moon and be important for future lunar missions. There, the astronauts will be based and working in the spacecraft, performing research and preparing for the forthcoming stage of the mission. By the end of the cruise, they will be getting ready to embark on Earth's orbit among the human landing system. It's an innovative spacecraft designed to guarantee the safety of astronauts during their transportation to and from the Moon. The potential site of the base camp is at the lunar South Pole. It's most likely at the Shackleton crater. This zone is considered the best place for the future lunar settlement. The question is, what will this permanent colony eventually resemble? As you think about the question, it becomes clear that there are so many different ways to do this. NASA, with one of the most outstanding competence and international collaborations, is ready to create the path into space for all humanity. Let us go into the details of the Artemis Base Camp, the main center of the NASA lunar missions. Its principal elements are a large number of features and facilities for life support that can handle the lunar harshness. The idea of waking up surrounded by the Artemis Base Camp, with its futuristic lunar cabins contrasting with the lunar background, sounds exciting. These modern habitats are the astronauts' living quarters that will provide them with a secure home under the harsh moonscape. These space cabins are fitted with the best of technology and modern amenities. They give a sneak peek into how life could be in the future on the other planet. But what about power? Lunar bases, like any other structure, require energy to function. It's the lifeblood of any lunar outpost in the unforgiving environment of space. Here, the innovative initiative of NASA's lunar surface innovation becomes significant. NASA is developing a cutting-edge nuclear fission surface power unit with the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense. It can provide 10 kilowatts of power. That's enough power to work the entire Artemis Base Camp. Despite its small size, this versatile energy plant provides astronauts with the necessities, no matter how dark the lunar surface might be. As you get into more details, you see a bunch of vehicles that are going to be the movers of the lunar expeditions. The Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency and Toyota have jointly designed a novel moon truck, an air-pressurized rover. It could smoothly go over the rough lunar surface. This pressurized rover is much more convenient and comfortable for astronauts who can explore the lunar surface in their usual clothes instead of wearing difficult spacesuits. The moon truck, with its superior mobility and high-tech features, not only expands the limits of lunar exploration, but also brings an evolutionary breakthrough in this area. Then there is life support, one of the most crucial and complex systems. That is where NASA's advanced generation spacesuits will play a prominent role. These next-generation suits give astronauts the ability to move more freely, communicate with the ground crew, and maintain life support systems more robust than ever. The more advanced equipment, along with the increased mobility, helps the astronauts to conduct complex experiments. You can also collect exclusive geological samples with ease. Along with that, NASA is going to have an unpressurized or open-top vehicle that astronauts will be able to drive their spacesuits. They will be able to go more than 12 miles away from the campsite. The vehicle could be either autonomous and driven along pre-programmed routes, or a remote-controlled one from Earth to collect more data. They're planning to develop a mobile home, also known as the Habitable Mobility Platform. It will be a high-tech camper van that will enable astronauts to make trips away from the camp for periods as long as a few weeks. The spacecraft has a pressurized cabin, and its life support systems are well designed to allow long-range exploration. Now you're probably asking yourself, how does NASA plan to build homes on the moon? Since 2016, NASA has engaged with several companies in their habitation system and design assessment. The suitability of interior layouts, environmental controls, life support systems, and outer shell designs like rigid shells, expandable designs, and hybrid concepts have been evaluated. Thanks to a brilliant group of researchers from the University of Central Florida, there is a novel way to construct houses on the moon without bringing any material from Earth. The researchers during their studies found out that 3D printed blocks made of regolith can endure harsh conditions in space. They can be successfully used as building materials for space construction. Lunar regolith is the moon's subsurface material. It includes the dust, rocks, and other materials spread on the surface of the moon. The combination of 3D printing and binder jetting was used by the researchers. It's an additive manufacturing method to print the binder and drop it on the powder bed. The plan states that the moon can be reached by an autonomous 3D printing machine that will be used to build solid habitats. It can be done by the combination of the moon soil and polymers. It can mean that instead of taking large modules of habitats to the moon, you can send only a 3D printer along with lightweight, strong polymers that mix with the moon's soil. Then, water can be used to 3D print habitats having floors, walls, doors, and roofs that can be stronger than concrete. It means they'll be ultra-safe and effective for long-term use. Setting up a few Artemis stations on the moon could be more scientifically productive and allow us access to the lunar surface. With future space programs like this one, you may reach the point where everyone will start living on the moon. The universe is filled with endless opportunities, and the adventure of the century is just here. Let's embark on this epic expedition and reveal the secrets of the universe. Click the links popping above, and I'll catch you there in just a minute.